Hey, welcome back everybody. I'm Jacob Swanson and today we're working on the Hart Parr 1836 again. Goal for the day, little project for the day. Let's see if we can get this starting tank removed and cleaned out and inspected and all that kind of fun stuff, and then eventually get the gas line hooked up so we could actually use that. I think it'll kind of be handy to have that hooked up and functional. So like this time of year when we're getting close to shutting it down for the winter, we can burn up what's in the big gas tank, and if we want to run it just a little bit, we can put some just in a little starting tank, because that's a whole lot easier to empty and a whole lot less to fill up. You got to put quite a few gallons in just to be empty in the big tank. So if you're going to run it for just a little bit, it doesn't make sense to put a lot of gas in the tank there, if that makes sense. So, looks like we got some doubled up square nuts on the back side here that hold the straps on, that hold the tank on. See if we can get any of those loose. Got it off. Note this rivet here on the fender bracket. I note that because on the back of the tank you can see where the rivet was rubbing on the tank. So when we rebuild this, I think what we will do is make these blocks just a little bit deeper so that tank is spaced away from the fender just a little bit more to alleviate that problem. We'll make some new blocks because these ones are pretty poor shape, pretty cracked up. Kind of bowed too. I suppose that could be part of the problem of why that tank is closer, maybe? Yeah, anyway. Now if we only knew somebody that did woodworking to make us some new blocks. I don't know where we're going to find somebody that could do something as complicated as these. And this is a lot of what I've been finding with this old restoration. It was amateur, like I said before, like this, they didn't actually take anything apart. They just painted with a brush what they could get. So it's rusty underneath. There's places in the backside where they couldn't reach that weren't even painted. It wasn't, they preserved it, but they didn't really restore it. Let's say that. Sounds like we got some stuff inside of there. I get the cap off, and I just had it outside in the sunshine, looking inside the tank. I know you'll never be able to see it doesn't look terrible. A little bit of rust, as you would expect to see. I think we'll do the old, put a little piece of chain in there, shake it till your arms are jelly, and then flush it out really good, and probably should be okay. I don't see any signs of it being rotten through on the bottom or anything. All this is just kind of surface rust, best I can tell. We'll clean it all up and go from there. Question for the experts out there. Does anybody know if petcocks like this are available anywhere? Specifically with that square on the bottom. This particular one is a flare fitting. 5/16, I believe is what it is. This is what the original to this tractor, to my knowledge, because both gas tanks had that shut off with the square just like that. The other one I replaced with a more modern one, because that's with the hex, and I had to go with I got some leakage there. I'll have to address that. I thought we had this holding gas. Huh. Sidetracked. Anyway, I had to go with a little bit different. The original one was like the starting tank where you had the flare fitting right on the valve. This I had to put the adapter onto the valve because that's all I could find, at least locally. Anyway, I'd like to put that back to original if possible. I wonder where that is leaking from. Well, it might have been actually from up here. I bet you that's what it is, because I know this fitting is still leaking, so I bet you it's going down, collecting on the bottom. I hope that's what it is. Shouldn't be down here. We were just through all that. Another little project let's work on, as long as we are going to go back to my shop and work on that gas tank. I pulled this governor top cover off again. Let's cut a new gasket for that and get that all cleaned up, and that should seal that up a little bit better too. I noticed it's been leaking around there a little bit. Another little look in there. We're going to have to redo that someday. I noticed there is some wear in those weights and pins and whatever, but like we said in the previous video, at least they are brazed on there, so nothing is going to fall apart. So there's been some repair, if I can get the focus in there, on that end of that washer for that bearing. So that's going to have to be addressed at some point too. But for now it'll work. Okay, got that gasket surface all cleaned up. Okay, I got all the governor cover cleaned up, gasket surface flattened, cut a new gasket. While I was at it, some of those stainless slotted screws that we got recently for the radiator cap project, you know, with McMaster-Carr, I only needed 2, but you got to get a box of 25, so we had a bunch of them. They were a little bit too long. Hacked them off though, because a lot of these, that one's actually pretty decent, but a lot of these are pretty boogered up from using the screwdriver and slipping. So we'll put some new ones, some new lock washers. We're going to go run up to the Pioneer Village and put this all together here tonight, because it's just about supper time. And I'm going to be busy probably this evening, so I think I'll throw this on. It's Sunday evening, so I won't probably work on it more this week, most likely. Right now I just got a rag stuffed in the top of the governor, and I'd hate to see some stupid mouse get curious and climb down inside the engine or something silly like that. So we'll put this back on and finish that project up here tonight. There, one more project done. Nice new hardware, nice new gasket. Cool. Moving on. Today I've been working on the starting tank. I put a chunk of chain in there, shook it around till my arms were tired. We'll go and blow that out, flush it out really good. I think we'll be okay. I straightened out the mounting brackets. They were a little kinked up and fit nicely now. I cleaned up all the nuts and washers. We'll get some new bolts, because at least a couple of these are on the verge of breaking pretty bad. Working on the valve here now. So it goes this on here. It actually has little detents for open and close. Like that. And then the little spring. And then there's another little flat washer that holds the little pin to hold tension on the part that pivots. Well, as you can see, this little washer with the funny D-shaped hole is broken in 3 pieces. So I found a washer with the right OD and a few minutes with some little files, and I made my own special little D-shaped hole washer. So hopefully that'll fix that problem. Hopefully that valve actually holds gas. We have to go make some new blocks, and then with some new hardware we can start putting things back together, I think. Cleaned up some of the rust and crust on the outside there. Put a tap through the petcock hole, clean up those threads. Yeah, coming right along. Well, it's almost a win. So I redid these fittings here with some new ones. So that holds gas now. Cleaned out this T, hooked up a line to the new, well not new, but the redone starting tank with the new blocks. We got to swap out some correct hardware for that yet. I'll have to get some of that in. Tank is cleaned out. Everything is a win except this old valve. It weeps just a little bit in both the open and closed position, unfortunately. So I'll have to try to, I don't know, see if we can get that to seal up someday or just replace it with the new one like we did down there. I'd like to use the original one if at all possible. Does anybody out there have any tricks on reseating them, lapping them in, whatever? Everything we've tried in the past, I have not had any luck with. I mean, we've always had just a little bit of weeping like that, even once we've gone through them. I've never been able to get them to 100% hold gas, because gas is the hardest thing to get. You know, if you can get something to hold gas without leaking, it'll basically hold anything, you know, water, oil, whatever, because gas is so much thinner than the rest. It's the most difficult to get things to seal up. So, but it's okay. We could actually use it as is if we want to, and unhooking it is easy enough to do, to redo that. So, alrighty, moving on to the next thing, I guess. Well, it's that time of year. Put everything away and put the trickle chargers and all the batteries up here at the Pioneer Village. Somebody had already done most of them. When I came up today and checked on them, there's a couple they didn't, so I got those taken care of. And I got the draining the gas out of the Hart Parr. Might as well use that before it goes bad. I'll put it in other things. So yeah, it'll probably be about the end of what you'll see on Hart Parr videos, probably for the winter, I'm guessing, unless we work on a few miscellaneous projects. But I'll probably kind of switch gears and start working on the Alice's again in the heat of my nice garage. It is not heated here in the pole barn at the Pioneer Village, so there's only so much a guy wants to work on when it gets cold like it is now. So like I said, I'm kind of draining the gas out of it, kind of parking it for the winter here. But I thank you all for watching. If there is updates, I will be sure to let you know. And don't worry, we will be working on other things. There's always something to work on. There's always more projects. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me here at Swanson's Garage. Hope to catch you all very soon. Later.